I'd gone to the Everest Base Camp once before, and I had thought that's the end of it. My bucket list has been ticked. I mean, this part of it has been ticked. So I was thinking. Then we did the Annapurna circuit and stuff like that. But last year, a couple of friends of mine said they wanted to do EBC, and if I could please organize it and come along. I first said I'm not interested. I've done it and I want to do new things now. But then they mentioned that they would like to do it via there's a second route via the Gokyo Lake. And that got my interest. And I said, okay, I'll take it on, get it organized and be there. Because I had seen this amazing picture of the Gokyo Lakes and it looked fascinating, absolutely amazing. Maybe I'll share that picture with you guys. That after all these years is still one of my favorite inspirations to go back there. So now having gone there once before to the Everest Base Camp, I decided, okay, since I'm leaving in April, which is just about a month and a half away. I started wanting to get all the things out. I brought out my list and started seeing what all was still okay, what could be used from what I took last time, what I needed to buy. So then the idea came to me that why don't I share this list with everyone through YouTube, because last time when I went the first time, that's how I figured out what are the stuff that I should be carrying with me, what are the things that, and now with the experience, I realized what all wasn't so important, what was just adding to the weight, and what all really I needed, and which made a difference. So I thought I'll share it with all of you, and we'll take it on from there. So don't miss any of it, because each of these, I'm only talking about things that really made a difference and were really important through the trip. Yeah, so we'll take it on from here. Don't worry, I'm going to not dwell on each item very long, so it's going to be quick to the point. It's basically to let you know the item and not so much about its description and stuff like that. It's basically why it's important and what all you should be carrying. So it'll be quick. Just go through the entire list and you will be set for when you plan to do EBC or any high altitude trek for that matter. Just suddenly I realized I should also quickly say at the start of the video that there is no commercial angle attached to this video. I wish I was, but I am not getting anything from everybody. These are just the items that I have personally used on my first EBC trek and I will be using again now. So this comes from the heart. There's nothing financial about it. So the first and most important thing that I think I would talk about is shoes. Your shoes are what's going to make it an enjoyable walk or not. So few things to take into consideration. There are some small streams that you cross along the way. It can rain, it can snow. So my suggestion would be definitely make sure they're waterproof. If like me, I was an athlete when I was young, so I got a lot of injuries, and which weakened my ankles over time. So I wear trekking shoes which give me support on the ankles. So even if you have slightly weak ankles, or there's any chance of twisting them easily, you must wear ankle support shoes, because that area can even a twisted ankle could be curtains. You would have to be flown out probably. Another thing which I'm quite sure you would think about anyway about your shoes, but it's important to ensure that you do, is that make sure it has a good sole which doesn't skid on or slip on slippery surfaces. You get these anti-slip anti-skid soles, Vibram and stuff like that, which would definitely help, because often, like even when you're climbing from Phagding to Namche Bazaar, you're going up these pretty big steps, and if they're wet, that your foot can suddenly it's very likely for you to slip or something like that. So there's a lot of stone that you're walking on if it's wet, so it's better just to be on the safer side. It's not necessary, but yeah, that's actually nothing in this list is absolutely necessary. It just makes it safer for you, and it makes it better that you don't that you get to the base camp and back healthy. Socks. So socks, I think the main thing I would suggest in socks is don't wear cotton socks. Those tend to, if your feet sweat, they get wet and then they stay wet, which is not a good situation to be in. You get the synthetic ones or the mix, and which kind of dry up faster, and also you get very nice trekking socks that give your feet a good support. If you don't find them where you are in Kathmandu itself, in Thamel, you have these adventure shops which have these amazing socks like this one, like this pair which I bought there, and they were excellent, and they are very reasonably priced, especially for the kind of quality and support that you get from them. Next on my list would be trekking pants. You need to wear pants which give you good protection from dust, from water. They don't have to be waterproof, but they should be water resistant, so that if you get rain, if you get snow, you're not soaking wet. So again, you get decent ones in Thamel and all over Nepal. So in case you can't find them where you are, you can pick them up there. By the way, you have a lot of shops, even if you forget, in Nepal, in Kathmandu, before you leave for your trek, on day 2, when you reach Namche Bazaar, there are a lot of adventure shops there. So if you've forgotten something, you can buy it there. Besides that, your trekking pants should be comfortable. Because you're going to be like you're in them for 8 hours a day, you need them to be comfortable and not tight at the waist. It should be comfortable, and the lower part should fit over your trekking boots, is my suggestion. So that things that roll down like water or whatever doesn't go into your shoes. They should fall on the sides of your shoes, which is waterproof. So I'm somebody who really likes the cold, but so I wasn't sure about carrying thermals last time, but then thermals take up such little space in your luggage that I just kept them there, and I'm so glad I did, because in the evenings at all the places you stop at, it gets so cold. It gets really, really cold. There's a friend of ours who washed and hung his shorts out to dry, and forgot about them, and next morning when we were about to leave and he went to get them, they had icicles and the shorts literally broke when he tried to break the icicles off. So yeah, it gets that cold. So the thermals, I would suggest, don't wear your thermals while trekking. It'll get too hot, too warm inside. So thermals, keep them for the evening once you reach your destination for the day. Then it's nice to be nice and warm, so that you don't catch a cold. You're not cold, and because altitude problems all begin with, first I feel, the body getting too cold and starting to shiver. Gloves. Gloves are important for, it gets really cold sometimes. If you leave early, it's really chilly in the morning. Plus, like once you end your day, and if you happen to be outside, or if you even inside the tea houses, they're not heated and stuff like that, except for the dining area. Dining area has a fire going inside a bukhari kind of a thing, so that's the warm place. But once you're in your room, it's cold, so you need to get into your quilts. But when you're walking around, it's nice to wear gloves. I would suggest, yeah, I mean, you don't have to carry two, but one could be a light fleece, and the other could be a slightly heavier one, which you can wear once you reached where you are going. And the days when you're expected to go over the high passes, I think that day, yeah, you could wear the thicker ones with the probably lining which are waterproof and they have a lining inside. Those are really good. So let's talk about dark glasses. It's really important because there's a lot of glare out there, and if you're going over some of the passes, if there happens to be snow, it's not just glare from above. It's not only the bright sunshine, which is very high in UV at that height, but also from below. If there's snow around, then you get a lot of glare of the snow from below. So you need to have good dark glasses, because they actually say that the brightness is so bright sometimes that it can actually sunburn your retina. So yes, so it's important to take good eyewear. You can wear something like these, but my suggestion would be, because they don't give you so much protection from the sides, I know they look a little fancy, but yeah, these work much better. You see, they give you protection from the side, a pretty decent protection from below, and they have great UV protection. So my suggestion would be to get some slightly wraparound kind of things to wear. They're very light also, and they serve the purpose. So my preference and my advice is to get these kind of dark glasses for the trip. Since we're talking about things to wear, caps. You can wear a cap like this. Sorry about this plane flying overhead, but okay. So yeah, you can wear caps like this, a regular baseball style cap. But you also get these trekking ones similar, which have a little cover at the back. Yeah, I'll show that to you. I have a cover at the back. That's kind of what I wore last time to protect your neck, the back of your neck, from getting sunburned. And of course, you have the hats with the white brim, which will give you great protection. If you will prefer those, that's what you should go for. But the idea is protection from the sun, which is really important at those altitudes. So for dark glasses, you get what are called retainers. So they're great to put them on, because when you're walking, when you stop for something, you don't have to and you need to take off your dark glasses to look at something, or you're inside when you stop for lunch or stuff like that. You don't leave your dark glass and don't realize that you left them 5 miles behind. So it's great to have the retainers, so you can just pull them off and just hang them around your neck. That was really useful last time, and I was one of the few people who didn't lose a pair of dark glasses. Everybody else, at some point or either, maybe it's the altitude that makes you do these kind of crazy things, but yeah, a lot of people left their dark glasses here and there. So a buff, I think, is really important. You must wear a buff, the ones which cover your nose, which you can cover your nose. It has so many different ways you can wear it. You can wear it like a beanie, you can wear it. But my main thing, which I feel it's important to carry a buff with you, is because there's a lot of very fine dust that flies around, especially when the yaks are walking past and stuff like that. And you're breathing in that the whole day. So the buff protects you from all that dust all the time, 8 hours a day. Plus, yeah, if there's a chilly breeze, it protects you from that too. It makes you feel much warmer. Especially I put it up, and when it's really cold, it even covers a part of my ears and to the back of the cap. So a buff is really useful, and I mean, there are so many ways to use a buff. Actually, there are in fact YouTube videos on how to the different ways that you can use a buff. So maybe you could check those out and realize the importance of it. If you aren't able to find a buff, which actually you can because it's available on all these websites, and even if it's not available in a shop near you, but even otherwise, if you don't want to go in for that, carry a muffler at least, a light muffler, so that you can wrap it around your nose and mouth and tie it at the back. It will serve the same purpose, but it's not as convenient, and it tends to keep leaving gaps underneath or getting too warm. So yeah, you can carry a muffler. Otherwise, my suggestion, carry a buff. So besides your caps and or hats or whatever, I would definitely suggest carrying a woolen or a fleece beanie. I have a problem with woolen beanies because it tends to get my head too scratchy. I don't know. I don't like that thing. But so I carry a fleece one, and it's very useful if it's especially when it's really cold, and also once you get back in the evenings when you're back from when you've reached your destination for the day and it's really cold, and you want to stay as warm as possible, those beanies really help stay warm. In fact, some places they even suggest that you wear your beanie when you go to sleep, because the quilt keeps the rest of your body warm, but then your head is exposed, and they suggest that sometimes maybe it would make sense if in some of the really high places to keep your beanie on while you sleep. So anyone who has a bit of a knee issue, like I've had meniscus surgeries and stuff like that, again thanks to my athletics and being stupid actually in the field, I would suggest, just to be on the safer side, carry some knee support. Those elastic ones you get, just because on days, for example, I was telling you about the second day from Phagding to Namche Bazaar, there are a lot of big steps. So that while going, and especially while coming back, when you're coming down those big steps, it puts a lot of pressure on your knees. And if you have a knee problem, I would suggest you might be thankful for having carried that knee support, which just gives you that little extra comfort and keeps you healthy. Cameras. Now, I'm a photographer. When I went last time was a few years back, and enthusiasm levels to take all the pictures possible, and also uh, I was a lot fitter. I carried my huge SLR with the big lens and everything, and my camera and lens, just the one lens itself, used together weigh about 4 kilos. And when you're walking at that height, believe me, forget kilos. Every 100 grams you can feels like a kilo out there. So my suggestion would be carry these as phones are brilliant, and so what I'm planning to do this time on the trip is my phone. I have an iPhone, and I'm carrying a little handy cam along with that, so that I can keep shooting some interesting videos of things which might be a little further away. Hopefully, maybe sometime, maybe see a snow leopard. So you never know. So it's a small handy cam and this phone, the iPhone. So these trekking walking sticks that you get, they're good. They're worth carrying. Some people carry two. They're using, but I used one because I always wanted to have one hand free to take pictures or to do something else. So, but yeah, that especially when you're coming down steps and stuff like that, or even when down or up, it gives you great support. You don't realize, and try and hold it the right way, where you wrap the strap around your neck and then hold the thing, so that when you even if you open your hand, you're not holding it; it just hangs from your wrist. So get the right way to hold it, and it's worth carrying a trekking walking stick with you. Don't feel embarrassed. Everybody carries. Almost 90% of people on that route I saw were carrying one and using one all the way. One of the most important things you need to take care of while you're on this trek, on any high altitude trek actually for that matter, is hydration. So besides carrying a water bottle, which you would have at the back in your day bag, but my suggestion would be definitely get a camelback. Camelbacks fit into your bag, and you have a pipe that comes over your shoulder and comes here. So while you're trekking, while you're walking, you don't have to stop, take off your bag, get the bottle out, etc. While you're walking, just keep having a sip or two every 10 minutes or so. It's a regular hydration, which is better than drinking a lot at one go, and you tend to finish off a lot more and stay hydrated. I often what I like to do, it's not necessary for everybody, but what I like to do is I like to add a little glucose, orange, or tang, or anything that makes it, you look forward to that sip a little bit more. So you tend to hydrate more, and also the sugars from that gives you a little more energy for the walk ahead. Yeah, so yeah, you can have plain water, or you can add a little flavor to it, like me. A Swiss knife. Swiss knife is something I carry everywhere with me. So it's not just on this trek, but I think they're extremely useful. They come handy in all sorts of situations. So yeah, so that's part of my list. You can decide whether you want to keep one with you or not. Uh, Chances are that somebody in your group or your trip leader will also be carrying one, so you can decide. But if you do carry one, make sure you don't carry it in your hand baggage, and that you check it in, because otherwise you're going to lose it at the airport itself. These so warmers, yeah, they are these things which you just tear open, and it warms up, it heats up, and you can put them inside. You get ones which you can put inside your gloves, you can put inside your shoes, you can put inside your jackets at the back or in the front. They're different sizes, and I think they vary from they stay warm give you heat for about 5 to 10 hours. I think the hand ones are up to 5 hours, leg ones, feet ones are 6 hours, and the ones you can put in your jacket, the bigger ones, they give you heat for about 10 hours. So yeah, they're great things if you don't like the cold, if you don't, and you like to stay a little warm, and it provides you with it's even good in emergency. So even if you're fine with the cold like I am, but in an emergency they would be very helpful. I carried them last time, but they are the same ones that are still lying with me, and I'm going to take them with me, the same ones which I didn't use last time. But yeah, I think it's worth having them with you. Medicine kit. Your medicine kit should basically include everything, all the basics, for tummy upsets, fever, dehydration, all that kind of stuff. You must have them along with you, so that you aren't suddenly looking out and looking for places to go and buy, because you will not find places in most of those places. You will not find the medicine you're looking for. The place has developed a lot. The route has developed a lot. There are shops in every place you stop, but I don't think you should take a chance with medicine. So just carry a crepe bandage in case in case of a twisted ankle. Carry some ointment for sprains, for an antiseptic. Yeah, other than that, just the basics. You must have the basics with you. Anything beyond that, then there are medical facilities available, but then you have to get to those. I know there's a high altitude hospital at Ferice where we were even given a talk by one of the doctors there from New Zealand. She gave us a lot of good advice, since after that it was straight up, to Gorakshep and to base camp after that. So we were already at high altitude. So yeah, do a little check. And talking of the medical kit, Dimox. I'm not somebody who takes Dimox, but it's a personal decision. That same doctor from at the high altitude told us that Diamox can also be taken as a um, as an SOS medicine. It's not necessary that you have to do a course as a preventive. There's a school of thought that even thinks that Diamox is it just covers the symptoms, whereas you're still suffering inside. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, it's a true. And I hate the taste. It gives you, when you have Diamox, it gives you a metallic taste to everything you eat or drink, and I hate that taste. So I've trekked all over in India in high altitudes, Nepal, EBC, Annapurna, etc., etc. I haven't had a problem without it, so I don't take it. But again, as I said, it's a personal decision that you can decide. And as I said, that doctor told us that it's possible to take it even as a as an SOS. Also, please remember that if you take Diamox, it's a diuretic, so it makes you go take a leak a lot more. So make sure you rehydrate as much, that much more if you're taking Diamox. Head torch. I used to wonder how important it was until we went on during the Annapurna circuit. We climbed up to Tilicho Lake, and it was quite an achievement for some of the people in our group. So we went quite slow, and by the time we were coming back, it was pitch dark. And believe me, there were places where you were trying to take support with both your hands coming down, and you really were thankful you had a head torch so that it was on top of your cap, and they are very useful. You carry a normal torch also, but a head torch in times of emergency you must keep it in your day bag when you're trekking, so that in case there is something because of which you get delayed, your head torch hasn't gone in your main bag with the porters. You should have it with you in your day bag. Your day backpack should be just big enough so that you can carry a liter or two of water in it. You should have some trail mix or chocolates for the way, just for the day. You can keep replenishing it every day at where you stop. Other than that, maybe your water bottle, your camera stuff. That's about it. I don't think you should think about putting more things into it. Your poncho, yes, your poncho, and if you think you want to change your jacket, or you might want to change your t-shirt or shirt at your lunch stop, you could do that and wear a dry one, because you will most probably, it will be a little wet by the time you stop for lunch from the sweat. So yeah, it might be a good idea to keep one of those, but then you're going to have a wet t-shirt in your bag too. So yeah, but which is better than having a wet t-shirt on you. So yeah, don't carry a very big day backpack. It should be, I think, a 20-30 liter one, not more than that, so that it's not cumbersome, and you don't carry too much, because believe me, like I said, 100 grams feels like a kilo when you're trekking at that altitude. So when it comes to jackets, I would carry. I carried a fleece jacket for while I'm trekking, and a down jacket for once I've stopped at the destination for the day. One, it's a lot colder there, and second, you don't want a down jacket to get wet from inside with your sweat, because that's not a good situation to be in. It doesn't expel the moisture that well, and also it's bad for the down or for the foam, whatever you have in your jacket. And fleece does that much better while you're trekking. So wear a fleece jacket for while trekking if it's cold enough, and a down jacket for in the evenings and mornings before you start trekking. Down jacket keeps you nice and warm. So as far as shirts and t-shirts are concerned, my advice would be, I prefer to wear something like this, a long sleeve one, It protects you from the elements. It protects you from getting sunburnt. It's it really helps. I mean, in all sorts of ways to have a full sleeve. Um, it never feels too warm because you're mostly above about 2,500 to 3,000 meters above sea level. So it's pretty cool all the time. The breeze is always cool. The sun might be sharp, but and this protects you from all different kinds of elements of weather. Yeah. So my advice: full sleeve shirt. When it comes to toiletries, one advice I would give is try and take, your trek is going to most probably be, say, 10 days, like via Gokyo we're going, so maybe it's a little longer, 13 to 14 days, we're taking it slightly easy. But yeah, plan for those many days and try and take exactly how much you need. Don't buy a big tube of toothpaste, a big shampoo, or a big anything. Try and keep the size as small as possible so that it reduces the weight you're putting on the porters. Because those guys, or if they're even using yaks or whatever it is, you don't want to burden them with too much. So you don't. So do keep this in mind and carry the smallest amounts of uh, all your toiletries. One very important thing, which is toilet rolls. Toilet rolls, yeah, you must you carry them with you. You can't be most of the places where you'll be staying. There's a little that reception is also a little shop always, and they do always keep toilet rolls, so you'll get it, but anything and everything gets more and more expensive as you go higher. But toilet rolls, coming to that, always keep one in your main bag and keep one in your day pack, so that in case there's an emergency on the way, or even if you just generally go, you need it on the way, you have it at hand. And yeah, so get two, keep one in your main bag, keep one in your day pack. Like I said, as you go higher and higher on the route towards EBC, things get more and more expensive. I remember once buying a Fanta bottle for 300 rupees. So yes, so why I'm coming to this is water. The same goes for water. It'll keep getting, if you're going to buy bottles, one, avoid the plastic. Two, it that tends to get more expensive and becomes quite costly as you get further up. My advice is that carry water purification tablets or drops that you can, or you even get these things which you can sip through, which purify it before it gets into you. But carry some sort of purification system, because you can do that not just for yourself, but for your group of friends. And everybody can fill their bottles in the morning before leaving, bottles and camelback with that purified water. And when you put those drops, give it 15 minutes or so to come into effect, and then fill your bottles and camelbacks. Snacks for the way while you're trekking. Snacks for the way while you're trekking, you should have some kind of trail mix, which just keeps you going till you reach your lunch spot, or from lunch to your destination for the day. Trail mixes normally mostly consist of things like almonds and cashews and raisins and stuff like that. So it depends. Anything that'll keep you happy and keep you going, keep your mood up, not feel hungry along the way. That's a good thing. Chocolates and energy bars are great for keeping the energy going, because believe me, half the battle is mental, and half the battle to keep your mental state healthy and happy is good food, is not feeling hungry along the way. Because if you feel hungry, you are just waiting to get to your destination, and that's not a good place to be. You you start getting frustrated, etc. So carry things that you like to munch on. I remember I used to get these really sour things in Nepal called titora, and I love them. They used to, even if you were feeling a little sleepy while walking, you pop one of those in your mouth, and besides giving your tummy something, they used to wake you up with the sourness and the spiciness that they have. So yeah, anything that keeps you happy and keeps you walking. So yeah, in my list of, obviously, with in today's world you can't survive without them, is chargers. So carry your chargers, carry a power bank. Each of these places will allow you to charge your stuff, but at each place they will charge you to charge your stuff. I don't know what it is. In those days when we went last time, it was around 50 to 100 rupees to charge your phone or to charge your camera battery. I don't know exactly what the rate is now, but they will charge you for it. But it's worth it. Plan for it and go. So and a power bank helps because then you just charge that once and you're done for at least for your phone. Maybe for 4 or 5 days. I have a 20,000 mAh thing, so that would hopefully keep me going for at least the entire one side of the trek up to EBC. Last time when I went, I didn't really know that it was so easy to charge your things at wherever you stop. They have multi-plugs, so it's not like you're standing in a queue. And of course, there are chances that you might have to wait for somebody else's phone to charge, but it's not like a long queue where you will not get a chance. So I didn't know all this was available, so I had carried 7 spare batteries for my camera, which I finally donated to a friend of mine who took, I didn't donate, who took those from me later because he was going on a similar trip. Yeah, and I didn't need to. Maybe 2, maybe have one spare while the other is charging kind of thing. But you don't need to take a whole bunch of spare batteries. What you have plus one more, that should be good enough. Poncho. A poncho is great. I mean, even though it feels very humid, I find it very humid and moist inside. But they were very useful, not just because when it rained, but when it snowed. One of the days, I remember when we were reaching, I think, Debuche, and just before we got there, we suddenly had this freak snowstorm, which it snowed heavily. It was almost like a whiteout for about half an hour, and we reached. And half an hour later, it looked like there had never been any snowfall. It had all melted away or got absorbed into the ground. It was bright blue sky and bright sunshine again. But during that snowfall, the ponchos really helped. And also on day 1, if I remember, when we were between Lukla and Phagding, we got some rain and we were very thankful that we had those ponchos to immediately. If you're enthusiastic enough to carry an umbrella, like one of my friends was, well, that works too and is probably quicker and more convenient, but it's weight. You have to decide among that, do you want to carry the weight of an umbrella as compared to a poncho. Towels. You should carry a towel, a big towel, as in for bathing, a bathing towel and a hand towel. They feel useful because and try and carry the quick dry ones, because if you've used it in the morning and you're leaving an hour later, you don't want to be packing a wet thing with the rest of your stuff. So carry both hand towel and this thing, and you will be finding use for them. Carry the hand towel in your day pack. I maybe at that, because I've mentioned that, I would say maybe even carry a small bottle of sanitizer. You might find it useful along the way. One thing which turned out to be really useful was a set of walkie-talkies. I carried one, and the person right at the front of the group carried another one. Or when I was in front, then the person at the back. So between us, we had one walkie-talkie each. It was typical small one, nothing fancy. One of those Motorola. They almost look like kiddie walkie-talkies, but they have a decent range, and especially in those areas, they have a very decent range, and it was nice. I mean, in fact, there was a time when one of the trekkers, one of our friends, she was really low in morale, and so I told the other person to put the walkie-talkie on her bag, the other one, and switch it on. I mean, it was on, and I played some music on a little music player I had, and that music, listening to that music while she was walking, made her reach the destination that day. I think she might have been thinking about turning back, which would have been really sad. But yeah, she carried on thanks to that music she heard through the walkie. But yeah, besides that music and the morale booster, walkie-talkies are really useful to keep the coordination going between the front and the back. Sleeping bag. So you should be carrying a good quality warm sleeping bag because it does get really cold, and mine is a -20 sleeping bag. It's great, but having said that, all the places we stopped at, they gave us quilts that were amazing. They were really made for that altitude and that cold. So the quilts were really good. In some of the places, in fact, I didn't bother opening the sleeping bag. I just got in under the quilts, and it was warm enough. So yeah, but you should have it for in case you come to stay at a place which doesn't give you that good a quality quilt, and also emergency in case you get stuck somewhere and you need to sleep where there isn't a quilt. So keep that sleeping bag. Trekking maps. That's so mostly these routes is just one route. There might be a few paths going off here and there, but you actually have markings which tell you that you're on the right route. And there are enough people, especially on the EBC trek, being a bucket list trek for a lot of people around the world. You won't be very far from being able to ask somebody which is the correct path. And but a trekking map is nice to look at the end of the day, and it gives you a good perspective of where you are in the scheme of things, or where you are on the trek, where you are in the mountains. It's a nice thing to look at, and it's a nice thing to give people while you're giving people a briefing, or people are looking at what they're doing the next day and they see from where to where on the map they're going to go. It's nice. It's a nice feeling to be able to look at. It's the old-fashioned way, but it's a really nice way to stay clear of your location and where you have to go. I love to wear a camera jacket like this because it's just so convenient. I mean, zip it up, it gives you another layer of protection. The pockets and everything just make it so convenient. You want to carry a small camera, your phone, some snacks, like trail mix. Instead of putting it in the bag and having to take off your bag every time, you just dig into one of the pockets, get whatever you want, and you're ready to go. So I really enjoy and think it was really useful. I missed it last time. I didn't carry one last time, despite me carrying an SLR last time. But a camera jacket is very advisable. Okay, so neck pillow. This is, I mean, you would probably say I'm going to be using just on the flight. But I would suggest you carry that with you in your day pack, because sometimes I've seen so many people who are quite exhausted by the time they stop for their lunch break. And although you have cushions lying around, but sometimes would be nice, in case you don't, to have that neck pillow, and it'll just give you that lovely 10-15 minute nap with a pillow under your neck. So yeah, it might be a bit of a luxury, but it's a nice luxury to have at times like that.